Alright, so now that you have your cast on, now you need to learn how to do the knit and how to do the purl. Now the big difference between knit and purl is that the purl creates these little bumps like this. So here's a row of purl and here's a row of purl. Now knitting creates these little V shapes. So you can see I have two rows. Knit, knit. And basically a purl is created by the back of the knit, whereas the knit is created by the back of the purl. So we're going to show you how to do each, and this is the Continental method, which is the method I prefer to knit in. Now as far as holding your yarn, a lot of people are very specific about how they hold their yarn. I could really care less. I just want to knit and get it done with. So I say hold on to that yarn however is going to best fit you. Some people will wrap it around their finger twice and weave it behind their fingers and do this, and don't worry about it. Just hold it however you need to. You can work out the way that works best for you eventually. So I hold my yarn in my left hand. You do want to at least create some sort of tension with your fingers, so it is good to at least pinch the yarn between your fingers. That helps to control it better. Now this is our knit. So on our knit side we're going to knit, on the purl side we're going to purl. Now this is our first loop. We have the front of the loop, and then on the purl side we have the back of the loop. When we knit, we're going through this front loop. It creates kind of, let's see if I can tilt this, it creates kind of like a hole in the front here. The hole is where you're going to stick in your needle, just like that. I'll show you it on the back side. So here's that hole, you're sticking it through. So you're kind of creating a bit of an X with your needles, with your needle shoved through this first loop. So again, and it also helps too to use this thinning out of the needle here to help get your needle in. So to knit, you go in from underneath the loop. So here's the top of the loop, the bottom of the loop. We're going through the bottom of the front. So let's see how it looks. Yours should look just like that. So this is your front, that's your back. You're going in just like that. Okay. So it kind of helps too to just kind of pinch it right here to make sure you're holding that loop on. And you take your yarn and you're basically grabbing this string right here and pulling it through the loop that you just came through. And you take that old loop off, kind of pull things tight on the new needle, try it again, scooch up your work a little bit if you need to. Take your needle, stick it through. Remember, so see, here's our finger. The needle's going to follow my finger through. Then you put the needle in the back. You can also wrap the string around if you want to and pull it through. Sometimes that helps to hold it on when you're getting used to knitting. And you just keep going, and eventually you'll find your rhythm, and this will go really fast for you. Unfortunately, I can't go fast with these gigantic needles. Just keep knitting. And that's how you knit. Alright, so now you've gotten to the end of your row. Mine looks a little janky because I was speeding through it. Straighten that out there. Okay, so you got to the end of your row. Now it's time to do the purl side. So we need to flip our needle from our right hand, and you're going to put it in your left hand. Then you're going to grab the empty needle and put it back in your right hand, and now we're going to do the same thing, only purl. Now the biggest difference between the purl and the knit is that you hold the string in front, whereas when you're knitting, this string you hold behind the needle. When you're purling, you hold it in front of the needle, like this. And again, there's no real specific way you should hold it, just do whatever's comfortable, as long as you're creating some sort of tension with the string. I just kind of wrap it around my thumb. So for the purl, you're going to take the tip of your needle, and we're still using this front of the loop, only instead of going from underneath, we're going down from the top and through. So Here's my finger going through the loop like that. That's essentially what you're doing with the needles. You're just going through the loop like that. Again, creating that X. Doesn't hurt to pinch it in place. This time you're going to take your yarn, wrap it around, so that way you can pull that new loop through and pull it off. I'm going to tighten the work here. Alright, so purl. You stick it down from the top, through the bottom. And that happens too, just stick it back on. Wrap it around. And pull it through. Stick it through the bottom. Wrap it around. And you're pulling it through. Just like that. Taking off the old loop. So down, around, through, and tighten. It doesn't hurt to just kind of tighten it yourself, and you can see this new row of pearls that you're creating. And then when you get to the end of this, you flip it again and just do your knit. Now, if you want to do a really quick and easy scarf, take a size 19 needle, some super bulky yarn, cast on about, I would say, anywhere from 14 to 20 stitches, and then just do purls on the purl side and knits on the knit side, and you'll have a pretty decent, easy scarf, and it's a great way to start practicing the skills that you're learning. And good luck, everyone.